Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mark, and we're back here for the daily recap. It is Friday. First week of the year is in the books. You could say it's an interesting year. It's been an interesting week, but at the same time, from the S&P point of view, pretty lackluster in my opinion. If you just look at, I just put up the spider chart on the hourly basis, and you can just see we gapped up on Tuesday morning, roughly right around 128 on the spiders, and Friday afternoon, we're closing right about 128. So there was certainly movement intraday, midday, throughout the day, but it's been very sporadic. The volume, the one thing I'm a little surprised about is actually the volume attached to this first week of the year. Very slow, very light, which does make me a little skeptical. But we still, I think, are going to be back to headline news very shortly, and we're just going to be dealing with Europe's market accordingly. There were certainly some standouts I think we could be talking about this week and today. Apple, certainly best in breed, waking up, is going to wake up, did wake up, and it woke up on Tuesday morning and really continued above 410. It closed around 422.50. It looks like it's probably going to run into earnings, which is what it normally does. Earnings, I believe, are in 2 weeks. So something to keep an eye on. Best in breed, as always. Another stock, and I've been talking about, probably touting it all week for the most part, is Amazon. I just feel like this is finally going to play catch up. It did a little bit of work today to wake up a little bit. It sort of broke a little bit of a downtrend that has been stuck in for probably the last month and a half. Certainly been underperforming the market, certainly been underperforming a lot of the stocks that really are making new highs. This has been lagging terribly. But I think as long as it stays above 180, and it could base here for a few more days, I think you're looking at 190, 195 should be in the cards very shortly. Google took a break today. Oils, always like to talk about oils. Not much to talk about this week at all. Gapped up a little bit on Tuesday, didn't do a whole lot, and at the same time, there wasn't really a whole lot. I don't know if I mentioned OIH more than once the entire week, which means there wasn't a whole lot of action. This market, I keep saying it, I always say it, this market doesn't go very far without the banks or the financials. Banks and financials tried to wake up a little bit, did not get anywhere, right back into the range. And you can see, use Goldman Sachs, usually best in breed, but right now it's JP Morgan, WFC, and even some regionals that are showing a little bit more strength. Goldman Sachs range is 92.50, 96.50, ping-ponging around there, not much to show us. But you put up JP Morgan, had a decent move, had a little follow through. Looks like 37.50, 38 is in the cards. And Wells Fargo, same type of play. It does look like it has some more room to the upside, and it's basing nicely. Also notable, Bank of America is now above $6. Few stocks that were last year's, I would say, got destroyed at some point last year, even though, for the majority of the year, they were the wonder kids. Netflix. We know what it did. We know it was a $50 stock, roughly $230 stock. Went all the way down to 60, 70. Really based around that level for a nice period of time. And I put up a weekly chart so you can just see it. For about 5 weeks, 6 weeks, woke up this week. Woke up with force. Went, triggered above around 74.50. Closed today around $86, $87 percentage-wise. Very big percentage. Listening to CNBC, I think that was the bigger percentage so far for the move this year. That might be a sign. We start to see a lot of stocks that lagged towards the end of last year. Tax selling obviously probably exacerbated some of those moves. Maybe at some point they start waking up for us to really get involved in. We'll certainly be on top of it. I know another one that I would put in that category was SodaStream. Same type of play, lagged for the majority of the last part of the year, last quarter of the year certainly, even though it was a darling in the first half. Woke up, and not the same stock as Netflix, certainly. Not in the news as much. And Amazon is just totally different, even though I mentioned sort of in the same breath. Amazon, I would tag in with the Apples, the Googles, as best in breed for the high beta, certainly. And there's some surprising moves on the Dow components. You have Microsoft today, and really the last few days has had really nice move to new highs. I put up a weekly chart also. it really, hasn't gone anywhere for a long, long time, but this is the monthly chart. You can just see it's forming a nice base, and it looks like it tagged the 8-day moving average on the monthly, and, it looks like a move at some point. It's going to be slow, it's going to be meticulous. To 32 is in the cards for a stock, really, quite frankly, that has not moved at all. That might be a little bit more of the trend, a little bit more of cyclical stocks, a little bit of defensive plays might go into the picture. I think we still have a lot of headline news hanging over us for the time being, and it doesn't seem like we're quite ready to get going. It seems like every time we're thinking about it, something's pulling on us to bringing us right back down to earth, regardless that there are actually some stocks that are certainly moving higher. We will have to wait and see. I think the spiders, as I said, intact. I'm not seeing the volume that I really want to see across the board. I think, again, headline news is really going to be the tell, at least the first quarter of this year. Ideally, I'd love to see Europe get behind us and figuring out what the next step is for people to really start investing in droves back to U.S. equity markets. I don't think we're there yet, but stay tuned. There's certainly action day to day. I think this week was a stock pickers week. Not easy, but first week of the year, it's in the books, and make sure the key. And I said this on Tuesday. Everybody sets goals. Make sure the goals are not 2-week goals, and your resolutions on what to do for your career are not 2 weeks long. You got to stick with it. You got to follow through with whatever you put on your paper and whatever goals you put in mind for your job and for trading. And I think that will really hold you well as we get into earnings season, certainly this quarter, and as the rest of the year sort of rolls on. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. See you back on Monday.